All right, let's talk about some more radicals. Yesterday we talked about simplifying radicals. We did that in our warm-ups and on our homework. Very on.
Is this like a part 2 to what we did yesterday?
Yes, it is. We're still working with radicals.
Nothing goes into 40.
Nothing goes into 40. Yes, it does. 10 and 4. So we talked about, I could write this as square root of 4 times square root of 10, and the square root of 4 is 2. And so that's just quick recap of what we did yesterday, yes?
Correct.
Okay.
What's the new notes called? It's just like
Okay, so yesterday was like multiplying radicals. Today we're going to look at... You can't see that?
It's like very working.
Oh, okay. So yesterday we really talked more about multiplying radicals. Today we're going to talk about what happens when we start dividing by radicals. And I hope that you know that what's a special rule about a radical when you divide?
you have to multiply.
Okay, but what can never happen?
You can never
get a decimal.
Okay, we don't like decimals whenever we do radicals, but what I'm trying to get at is if you have, everybody agrees that a fraction is dividing, right?
No. Correct.
You can never have a radical in the denominator of a fraction. Okay, that is a rule. Have y'all not heard that rule before?
No.
All right, never have radical.
No, it's just
Go ask them.
In denominator. Denominator means the bottom. So I can't divide by a square root, yes? So now I have to figure out what to do if that situation occurs. Can you think of anything I could do to make that radical go away?
multiply by 3.
You are correct in an inverse. Not 3.
You want to know what? By 2?
Not just 2. If 2, yes, Lakiana, by itself. Did y'all hear that? So y'all are on the right track, and you were almost getting there. But if I multiply the square root of 2 by 2, I just get 2 root 2, right?
No, 2 plus 4.
That's what Lakiana was saying. If you multiply by the square root of 2, if you multiply it by itself, square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4, which is 2. Right? So it's gone. Now think about this. I can't just multiply by something in the bottom and the fraction be equivalent. So what do I need to do?
Do it to the top 2.
Do it to the top 2. That is the same thing as put. That's why I said when you're thinking inverse operation, you're thinking the right thing, because the square root of 2 squared is the same thing as square root of 2 times square root of 2. So you are squaring it and you are doing the inverse operation, but I need to know what that is so that I can do it to the top also. Does that make sense?
Yeah, maybe.
Because you can multiply anything by 1, right? And it keeps the same value. And 2 divided by 2, or square root of 2 divided by square root of 2 is? Square root of 2 divided by square root of 2? 1. So really I'm just multiplying this fraction by 1. So let me give you the rule. What's what say? I'm sorry. So it's 3 times the square root of 2 over 2.
That's the answer?
Yes, you can have a radical in the top, you cannot have it in the bottom.
Oh.
So let me give you a general rule. So I like you to kind of come to it on your own, but then if you still don't quite get it, I'll give you the rule. When you see, do I need to stop a minute and let y'all copy this? Okay. All right, so let's say the rule. That's what I said. That's what I was going to tell you. The rule. If you have a radical in the bottom, if there's a radical in the denominator, what?
I wanted to hear if I would hear that in the YouTube video.
So you're gonna go back and watch this to hear your yell in the video?
Maybe one day.
Oh my goodness. Multiply the top and bottom by that same radical. And I'll show you what I mean. So if I have a radical in the denominator, which is the bottom, then I multiply the top and the bottom by that radical. And what happens is I multiply across here, and what does the bottom become? Just y. It cancels the radical out. Does that make sense to everybody?
Square root is like canceling.
It absolutely does, yes. Any two square roots multiplied together just leave you with the radicand under it. That's it. I'll give y'all a second. All right, let's say. DeAndre, are you asleep?
No, man, he was paying attention right at
What? I'm taking one note. I just laid out because you weren't writing that. I'm serious, look. I can remember what you said.
All right, what's wrong with this one? I believe you. I believe you. What's wrong with this one?
Oh, you had a radical at the top and the bottom.
Okay, which one's bad though?
The top. I'm at the bottom.
You meant to say the bottom, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. So what do we do to get rid of it?
You multiply by.
I don't even know, and I was listening.
Square root.
You're right. He's right. He's right. Y'all laughing at him. He's right.
You know what he learned that in the
You multiply the top and the bottom by the radical that's in the bottom because the top one's okay. It's okay to have one up top. Now.
Why can you have one on top and not bottom?
All right. So we're top and bottom by square root of 2. Think back to the lesson yesterday when we multiplied two radicals together. We combine what's under there, yes? So I got square root of
10
over
2.
That's okay. Now, can I make that square root of 5? No. This one's under a radical. This one's not. They're completely different, so I leave it, boop, just like that. Let's see if you understand.
If you understand, you don't understand.
Uh-oh. What's the problem?
Nothing really. Just get rid of the 5. Get rid of
the radical in the bottom, the root 5. How do I get rid of it?
So you do everything over again. So you have 4 and 10.
The point that I wanted you to see here is you don't need to multiply the 2 also because it's not a problem, right?
You just got to get rid of
the only thing I got to get rid of is the radical 5. So I do square root of 5, square root of 5.
So you get 25 and it's back to 5. So it's 25.
So now I have, yes, 3 square root of 5 over
15 over 10.
Wait, how does it come as like a regular? Oh my God.
Yep, so these two together, remember, whatever you're multiplying together, if it's square root of 2, square root of 2, it gives you 2. If it's square root of 10, square root of 10, it's 10. If it's square root of x, it's x. It doesn't matter when it's the same, that's all you have left, okay? So now I get 3 square root of 5 over 10.
That's your answer?
That's your answer.
This isn't so hard.
Because the 5's under a radical and the 10 is not. All right, let me give you.
That'd be Irish.
So, along the lines of dividing, yesterday we talked about if you had the square root of x times the square root of y, you could put them together. And we could go forwards or backwards, okay? Well, since we're talking about division today, if we have the square root of a divided by b, guess how that can split up?
negative and b.
The square root can go to the top and the bottom. Okay. Does that make sense to you?
No.
We're going to do several examples if it
I thought it
doesn't.
couldn't be on the.
Yes, I'm going to give you numbers also.
At this point.
Would that,
How come it can be on the
would that
bottom?
leave it in simplest
So,
form, or
no, that would not leave
Why
it.
not B?
Then you would have to get rid of the radical in the bottom,
So it'd
right?
be B and AB up front.
Well, but if this was a perfect square, you wouldn't have to worry about it. But if it wasn't,
It's a I feel like right here I'm not learning.
AB.
Back there I was learning.
because of the variables,
Why can't you just combine them?
I mean, just because the seeing right here.
are you talking about your new seat?
Mr. McGee, why can't you just combine them like AB over
Some of
B?
us can't see it.
You have to. All right, listen. Here, let me show you with numbers, and maybe it'll make a little more sense to
Numbers
you.
make more sense than
Wow.
Yeah.
Because letters are not
I
on
needed
the
that.
Okay.
Let's go.
And let me show you what I mean by that. Here, if I've got the square root of 9 over 64 and I'm asked to simplify that.
You just divide 9 to 64.
Well, but it doesn't go evenly.
No, it doesn't. 8 times 8 equals 64.
9.
So the closest,
And it'd still be a fraction regardless.
the
So you
closest
multiply by
one.
64. No, it's divide.
Well, look at it. Look at it. You can split them up. Okay, so let's split them up because just like whenever I was multiplying yesterday,
The
if
square root
I
of 9
had
is square root of 64. You have 3
this,
over 8.
you could split it up, right? Square root of 9 times square root of 64.
3 over 8, right?
So what I'm going to do here, since I'm dividing, is I'm going to say this is the square root of 9 over the square root of 64.
So 3 over 8.
And I don't need to multiply by the square root of 64 because, Darion, it goes in evenly. It's just 3 over 8.
That's
Okay, now if this were not a perfect square, then I would need to,
Multiply.
yes.
Why can't we do this easy?
Let's do another one. Shh.
Wait a minute. I got a question.
Yeah,
So how you get 3 over 8?
shh, Darion. Say again, DeAndre.
How you get 3 over 8?
I put the radical to the top and the bottom, and the square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of 64 is 8.
Oh.
Perfect squares. This list of orange numbers behind me, yeah. Let's do another one. Shh. Darion.
Can we try this one on our own?
Sure. Oh, let me hit record so we'll. So let's do square root of 11 over square root of 25. What do you notice? 25 is a perfect square. Good job.
11 is 2.
Wow, what goes into 11 equally?
Y'all be nice.
You ain't gonna talk to me like that.
Square root of 11 over 5. Yes? There's no radical in the bottom, so I'm good. If that square root of 11 was in the bottom, I'd have a problem. Yes? Okay. One more?
I think
One more try.
I feel like I'm
Let's do one more. Let's see. Let's get one that you're going to have to. Let's try square root of 2 over 15. Don't blurt out the answer. Let's look at it together. If we split it up, where's my problem area? The bottom, the 15.
Because no, it can't go into 2.
Okay.
Right?
Nothing can go into
So you
2.
multiply by.
Why you look at me like I was wrong?
No, but what's the problem with the fraction now?
15.
The 15, right? It doesn't matter that there's a square root of 2 on top.
But
I will caution you too. What's the matter?
2 is going to 15. I mean, 5 is going to 15.
Okay, so but if it was flipped the other way, yes. I see what you're saying now. If it was flipped the other way, but because it's the 2's on top, it would reduce some if 2 could go into 15, but it'd still be a fraction. So it'd still have a radical on the bottom. Okay, I'll show you in a second. All right. Always check your radicals. Make sure you can't simplify them any. Break them down. Can I break 15 down?
Yes.
Try.
No.
No, it's 15 times 15, you get 225 and 2.
But what I'm saying is, can you do this with it? With a perfect square? No, right? All right, so I get rid of it like it sits. And some of you are saying square root of 15, square root of 15, and you're right.
So it's going to be 30 over 15.
Not 30, but square root of 30 over 15.
Now listen here.
So you both.
Did I not ask you
Yes.
when we had when we had 3 and 2 why we couldn't combine? You said we no.
Why what?
It was 3 and 2 and you told me we couldn't combine. Oh.
The 3 wasn't under a radical then. You see? Okay. What was it, Kaylin? You cannot on this one because did you put square root of 2 over 1?
I simplified it.
You can't put the 15 into the 30 because the 30 is under a radical and the 15 is not.
What do we do with this? Like, it goes into the whole thing you think.
So let's see. Listen, because she asked a good question. Let's say you ended up with something, and this is just a random problem. Let's say I ended up with 5 times the square root of 30 over 15. Okay? Look at what's outside of the radicals. Look at what doesn't have a radical on it. Those I can simplify. I can divide them both by what? 5. So I could get 1 times the square root of 30 over, oh, I messed up. I'm sitting there looking at that 5, yeah, over 3. You see the difference?
Oh, so that's the only time you simplify?
Yes, yes, and that's what, yeah. Does that make sense to everybody?
See, I got confused.
So, you would leave it at the square root of 30 over 15.
Yes, that's our final answer.
I'm still confused.
If they can factor it out, or how it is.
Factor like break it apart. Yes, you always want to do that if you can. Because that could, Did y'all hear the question? What if you could simplify square root of 30 some more and break it apart into 2? You always want to do that because then it could simplify out here some. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Oh, goodness, y'all. Now I have a decision to make.
Decision about.
I want you to do